Hello, Palo Alto. Today is Friday, September 18th, 2020, and InFocus starts right now.
Embarcadero Road. Walk sign is on the crossing.
Welcome to the first episode of InFocus Season 23. I'm Stella Essemacher. We hope you had a great summer given the circumstances. We'd like to thank the Mid-Penn Media Center for allowing us to expand our broadcasting from YouTube to cable. Normally, we would be able to broadcast live from our studio, but with Palo Alto High being closed, we are fortunate enough to make the most out of the circumstances. This year, you can expect these 10-minute shows every Friday with video content produced by our staff with news that impacts both the Pali and greater Palo Alto community. Without further ado, let's get started with today's show. COVID-19 has caused businesses to close and many have struggled to stay afloat, but a new city program has enabled restaurants in city business districts to reopen for dining in a new format. Blake Chase has more.
In response to the coronavirus pandemic, Palo Alto closed California Avenue and University Avenue off to car traffic during the summer to allow restaurants to expand outdoor dining. Alicia Kaihau, Director of Operations at Local Union 271, describes the effect of this initiative, Summer Streets Under Business.
I think everybody on University, when they saw the success of Cal Ave, was eager to see that happen downtown. I mean, everybody, of course, wants the opportunity to recover and recoup any lost funding that they missed out on, along with bringing back dozens of employees that we had to terminate in the middle of March.
Pali Jr. Danny Santos echoes this positive mentality.
I like restaurants outside because they close the streets and it's nice to walk around, and the vibes are better because it's just more open.
Although restaurants like Local Union 271 benefit from summer streets, there are still many challenges.
I mean, you're talking about a business that had a business plan, was well thought out and organized, to changing your complete concept and trying to adapt and move it outdoors. You're talking about a kitchen that's in the back of the restaurant, and usually you would just take food from the kitchen to the front of the restaurant, which is you're covering like 50, 60 feet. Now you're talking about running it all the way out to the middle of the block in 95-degree weather. It's changed the concept completely.
Summer streets will continue until the end of 2020, but plans to transition to colder weather are still in the works.
I don't think a lot of people are really thinking about that right this second, only because that involves a large investment, and people are hoping that they won't have to rely on a large investment in outdoor dining, that they'll be able to resume at least a 25 to 50% indoor dining.
For InFocus, I'm Blake Chase.
Thanks for that, Blake. While communities are adapting to new situations because of COVID-19, communities in California, Washington, and Oregon are dealing with a new crisis, wildfires. InFocus reporter Cody Millar looks at one specific community and how they've adapted to dealing with a wildfire during a pandemic.
This is a photo of Big Basin State Park in 1901 from the Santa Cruz Sentinel. The first state park in California is 120 years old and hosts hundreds of visitors each week. But this year, that has changed. In August, the CZU lightning complex ravaged the park and surrounding areas of both Santa Cruz and San Mateo County. Although we have been impacted by the smoke, many do not realize how close to home this fire was. I am here at the foot of the Big Basin State Park, and as you can see, almost every tree is completely burned. Leaves are falling down everywhere. The entire road is covered in ash. And this is only just at the foot of the basin. And with an event this big, part of us must wonder what truly causes this to happen.
Well, the last fires that impacted us were most significantly due to poor air quality and smoke, whereas this one is, actual fire that has consumed a ton of acreage and that has consumed a lot of buildings. So this is the first one in my 21 years of living in this county where there's actual fire in our county, very close to the city population, and actual homes, were lost and water lines were destroyed. So this is the most significant fire that has been literally in our back and front yard.
Despite the majority of the fire affecting the redwoods of the Santa Cruz Mountains, it also impacted residential life. One of Galvan's coworkers had shared that they felt fear of losing their property.
One in particular lives in the San Lorenzo Valley. And so for him and his, his family of four, he's got two little kids. And, they just bought this home out there a couple of years ago. And one of the main reasons that you live out there is because of the beautiful redwoods. And then suddenly he's looking at losing everything. And he, told me about how he went back with his wife for one last thing. The police, had already come banging on their doors, and they had to go back one more time and to take some pictures for, insurance purposes, and how, just kind of vulnerable he and his wife felt, thinking that that was the last time that they were ever going to see their home again, and having to, kind of not just walk away from that, but run away from that. And that just, touched me at this profound level.
And while people are given in an evacuation, not always are livestock considered.
People were literally opening up their homes to friends and relatives. People were volunteering to help take care of each other's pets and livestock. So, these animals needed a place to go. And so other parts of the county, other ranches, volunteered to take some of these animals in.
In addition to affecting such a large area, this fire is also unique due to the fact that it is occurring during a pandemic.
There's, already kind of a heightened conscientiousness around, cleanliness and hygiene and distancing. And so now we have this irony of having to cram a bunch of people into a warehouse, essentially, in order, because they're being evacuated. And so how do you blend this idea of bringing people together because they have nowhere else to go, yet keeping them apart just enough to keep each other, safe and adequately distanced.
And with wildfires more severe than we've ever seen before in California, the question comes to mind of if more is coming.
I don't think that there's any question that the local climate, the global climate has had an impact. I think it's pretty obvious that there's been significant impact on the climate, given what's happening. The storms are harder, they're more fierce. Over the last 3.5 years, we had mudslides on Highway 17. We've had more significant rain. We've had more snow on our local mountains in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Here in Santa Cruz County, very seldom does it ever hit triple digits when it's hot. We're hitting triple digits more often, including this past weekend. That's super rare over here. And, lightning storms in the Santa Cruz Mountains, sure, probably not unheard of, but what's been going on, how can we not look at, climate change problems?
In the ashes of historic ruin, growth has spurred in community spirit.
As I was driving up Highway 17 north to go to our other clinic in Watsonville, I saw a motorcade going northbound on 17 with about 20 CHP officers on motorcycles and a big black SUV. And I thought, wow, that must be someone really, really important, going really fast, very well protected. And I thought, there's really no one in Santa Cruz County all that important. And then I later realized that it was Gavin Newsom, who had been visiting one of the evacuation centers in Watsonville earlier that morning. And I realized it was his motorcade that was flying north. And just kind of seen that and witnessing that, thinking like, wow, someone of his stature is in my little teeny tiny town. I got a little choked up, and just feeling like this is really the biggest pain that this community has experienced since the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. And it just seen, fire engines rolling in from Visalia, fire engines rolling in from Los Angeles County, emergency response workers from all over the state are here, and seeing them eating at our local little teeny tiny restaurants has been a very, very wonderful thing, feeling very cared for by the larger community, and seeing our local community being able to give back, and seeing, signs that have been, homemade signs posted up on the freeways saying, thank you, firemen, thank you, firefighters, thank you, emergency response workers. These are like homemade signs made by kids. And so the community is very, very grateful. And I think that's probably just the last thing that I would share, is that we're grateful, we'll be fine. And through this, again, really nice things can happen.
To gather more information on the current status of the wildfires in California, visit fire.ca.gov. For InFocus, I'm Cody Millar.
That does it for today's show. Be sure to check out our website, subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch previous content, follow us on Instagram to engage with our content, and Twitter for updates and breaking news. Until next time, I'm Stella Essemacher, and this has been In Focus.